Alright, so what we're going to do here is look at how we actually save up for our deposit using the graphics calculator. So what we're going to need to do is, again, we're pretty much always going to be writing down all of our information that we're going to put in our graphics calculator. What I'm going to do here is just come up with some values that I have decided upon myself. What we're looking for when we're saving up is the time that it takes. So we're trying to find N. So straight away, that's going to be what we're looking for. I've said that I found a bank account which gave me 2.5% interest per annum. I'm starting off with nothing in the bank because we're just starting to save up for this deposit. We're keeping it very simple. In my budget, I found that I can spend or save $1,000 per month. So that means that my PMT is going to be negative 1,000 because I'm giving it to the bank, and that also means that my PY is going to be 12 because I'm making 12 of those payments. So that's a really important thing to do there, is make sure your PMT, your PY, and your total available money in your budget are all lining up. My deposit that I found out that I need to save, I'm just keeping it simple here, is going to be 100,000. And my bank is actually compounding interest daily. So my CY is going to be 365. Now, generally that's what most of the banks will do. If you want to experiment, or if you find that you've actually found in the fine print that they don't compound daily, then you can have it as whatever, but generally they are going to be compounding daily. When I put this into my calculator, I'm going to find that I have an N of 90.75. So what that means is it's going to take me 90.75 months, because we need to refer to our PY here, 90.75 months to save up. When we're saving for something, we always round it up. So we're going to round that up to 91 months, because if I don't round that up, that's basically going to make me fall short of my savings goal. Really important in this investigation that you round up in pretty much every single case. So if I look at what I've got here, 91 months divided by 12 is going to give me 7.58 years. So it's going to take me about 7.6 years. If you want to, you can put that into years and months. This is just purely so that we can make a quick comparison with the next part. So now that we've figured out how long it takes to save up, we also need to consider inflation. So keeping in mind this 7.6 years over here, when we are calculating an inflated amount, we need to consider the inflation rate, which is either a decimal or a fraction. We can't just do it as a whole number because that's going to really blow it out. And we also need to think about the number of years that we took to save for. So we know that the amount of years we took was 7.6. The inflation rate that I'm going to use for this is going to be 4, so 4%. Now, as I said, it has to be a decimal or a fraction. So that is either going to be 0.04 or 4 over 100. Both of those will give you the same result, but don't just use 4. That will make it a massive number. So the inflated deposit, we are trying to find this. We need to make it equal to the original deposit, which is 100,000. We are multiplying that by 1 plus our inflation amount, so 0.04, and we're raising that to the power of 7.6. So if you put that in your calculator, you should find that you get $134,515.41. Remembering, if we're talking about dollars, just go to 2 decimal places, because that is how you talk about money in the real world. Alright, now that we've got this inflated amount here, this is the new amount that we need to save for. Some of you might notice that as we have calculated that it's going to initially inflate for 7.6 years, when we calculate the amount of time it takes to save for this bigger amount, it's going to be longer. That is just a limitation of our investigation. If you want to talk a bit more about that, you can absolutely do that in the extension part, but we don't really need to worry about that in the general chat of the regular investigation. So if we're saving up for this inflated deposit, everything is going to stay the exact same. We know that we don't know our N yet. The only thing that's going to be changing here is going to be the amount that we're saving up for. So our FV is going to be $134,515.41. Our interest rate, and really be careful not to get your interest and your inflation rates confused. The interest rate here is the percentage that the bank is giving you. The inflation rate here is the rate of inflation that is happening to your money overall. Again, PV is 0. PMT, we said that we can pay $1,000 a month. So there's 12 there as well, and 365. So if we go again into the graphics calculator, we don't know N, we know that. FV is changing to the value that we've got there, and what we get is 118.47 months. Now again, notice that usually if we had this number and I said round it to the closest month, you would actually round this down. Because if we rounded it down, we wouldn't actually have the full amount of money required. We just always round it up. So we've got 119 months. If we go into our calculator and just calculate 119 divided by 12, that gives us 9.9 years. And if we compare that to our initial amount, which wasn't inflated, that was 7.6 years versus 9.9 years. So again, you will have a different interest rate, you will have a different inflation rate, you will have a different FV, PMT. Most of your values will be completely different, but this is just going to show you approximately what kind of difference between your initial and your inflated deposits should take in terms of the time to save up.